but I can hear myself over there.
Is that coming through?
I'm super live. I'm live in the room. Greetings, YouTube friends, subscribers, children of all ages. We are live from the Beard Cave, where tonight we recorded, and no matter how many times we record and leave ourselves a lot of time, we do something to dork around to bump right up against the time where we're going to go live. But we are here, and happy to be so. Be so.
Yeah.
Be so.
I think so. Anybody saying hello yet? Nobody's saying hello.
Not yet.
So, some interesting things happened in this week.
Yeah.
Put it all in perspective. So last Sunday we went to the Philadelphia Guitar Show.
2 Sundays ago.
2 Sundays ago. There's my wife.
There she is. Hey, girl. Hey, boo.
And then
Your boo.
after that, we hung out with Hack on his show Thursday night.
That was awesome.
Right. So maybe we wait to talk about that to see if any of the regulars show up. If they don't show up, we'll talk about it. We'll come back to it. Let's go back to it. I don't know. Maybe if they don't show up, we'll get to bed early tonight. So do you want to talk about James Severin in the house? Thanks for stopping by, man. You saw us on Hack. We were just starting to talk about Hack Show a little bit. That was a
turning point, I think, for us.
It was fun.
In a lot of ways, right? I mean, it was great. He had 53 people in the chat at one point.
Yeah.
And we netted a number of subscribers that night, which is great. But it was just great to, we did it in separate locations. Technology, we felt maybe we should do it that way. And we got asked some questions. Hack asked some questions. He read off the questions. And, I mean, even just going down the check-ins, took forever because there was a lot of people. Like when Dan in New Jersey just checked in and he was on there. And
Brian Landreth.
Layla's Guitar Daddy. Look at that. Yes, Veterans Day. Thank you.
That's what
so much.
We said earlier. We had to start with that.
Yeah, I come from a long line of veterans. I broke that straight because my hair's short now. But my dad was in the Army. Uncle was in the Navy. Grandfather was in the Navy. Uncle in the Army. So happy Veterans Day.
Right.
Thank you for your service, and thank you, Layla's Guitar Daddy, specifically to you. Thank you for the reminder. We talked about it earlier, but our brains are like sponges that are full sometimes.
Yeah. How about
Yeah.
They did a Memorial Veterans Day service today at the school I work at. It was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah. We did a really nice job. Had the honor guard come in and present the colors and whole 9 yards. It was sweet.
That's cool. Brian Landreth snuck in when we weren't looking. Thank you, Brian.
So let's talk. I mean, we come back. We could probably circle back to the Hack Show because, like you said, that was a lot of fun. And anytime you get the chance to meet new people in this, so the subscriber thing was cool.
Right.
And that's helped. But that was just to do that was a lot of fun. And Hack's such a nice guy.
Yeah, he was great. We were on a little early to make sure the technology was working and talked, and then did the show that might have gone an hour 10 or so, and then he hung on and talked to us for a while, and we talked to him and congratulated him on hitting 1,000 subscribers and kind of asked what that looked like for him, and talked about gigs. He was playing a gig, what places do you gig, and just got into all kinds of after show questions with him. He was really generous with his time, and we appreciated that because at some point the subscriber base keeps building. We would love to offer what was offered to us to somebody else, but maybe not quite there. That would be super. And we joked,
that would be super helpful.
We joked that if we had Hack on our show, people could resubscribe because a lot of people are, thanks to Brian Landreth, who was kind of the linchpin for this whole thing, then Ben Combs, and then Guitar Hack, and so a lot of the same cast of characters, and I mean that affectionately, are the ones that we see. So it was great.
6-string Brian's in the house. I stopped into his live the other night. No, it definitely was his live the other night. 6-string Brian, you were doing the new Elite Series on the Fender Fender Telly, right? Cool color. He picked up the one that's like the they'll tell me in the chat, Ice Tea or something. It like looks black at some angles, and you turn it, it looks brown. It's really a wild looking color.
So Bobby Lopez, hello, James Severn. I think he was already in, right? 16 Brian Landreth.
So this is what
Texas Tea.
Texas Tea. That was close.
He's like the Beverly Hillbillies.
Right.
So that is.
This let's talk about Sunday. So last Sunday, PJ calls and says, Philly Guitar Show, you want to go, drive an hour and 45 minutes. I drive, 45 minutes to work every day, but one way. So I'm getting older and more crotchety, and it's like, I'm older
than you are.
I know, but I don't want to drive. But anyway, he said, Philly Guitar Show. I'm thinking, Philly Guitar Show, lots of guitars, lots of stuff. Let's drive to Philly. We'll do it. So we drive to Philly and do that. We talked about that last week. So this Sunday he calls. He says, "Hey, I had found this Craigslist ad for 3 pedals.
It's his fault.
3 pedals for $60. He can show them to you in a minute.
Yeah,
they're not real expensive." And he says, "Hey, let's drive 45 minutes to York to pick these pedals up. And there might be other stuff there. The guy said he had some
changing over his studio, his recording room or whatever. And
right. He didn't realize, I don't think, in his defense, I don't think he realized the gear hounds that he was talking to because, anyway, so we drove 45 minutes down. So what did you pick up on this was a Craigslist, right?
Oh, yeah, Craigslist, which there is a Craigslist killer, but it was not this guy. This guy was super nice. I think his name was Brian, right? So I'm looking back here because we have 2 other pedals from this series. It's the Behringer series. So he had the vintage delay, the VD400, and the digital delay, DD400, and shockingly enough, a compressor sustainer, a CS400, which I'm actually using tonight because I'm playing this Alsip guitar that has pretty bright rear pickup, so kind of toning it down a little bit with that. So we got these 3 pedals. Drug him the 45 minutes. We had show talk and, life talk.
You get the hang of it.
So we get there, right? And we don't know if we're going to come up with some uncovered gems. He's like, I got other pedals. I got lots of stuff, and so we go. And this was the find for us. But super nice guy. Had done a lot of, craftsmanship stuff at his house. Showed us his recording room and talked about his friends that come over. And Jason ended up playing with his granddaughter. His granddaughter came bounding down the stairs. He's adopted 4 kids. Comes bounding down the stairs and he's a sucker for kids, and she's got him over at the play oven, and she's burning his hand on the burner and
dragging me around. She tried to drag me upstairs by the finger, guys.
Sweet little kid, kept falling over like Humpty Dumpty. It was hilarious, but so really great, really generous guy. Really proud of some of the work he'd done at his house. Scored 3 pedals because at some point you never know. Every one of these pedals so far have been a winner. The TO800 I think was the one that started this. That we matched it up.
The second one we did was
it's the modeler, right?
winner. I don't know.
But part of it, again, we can blame this all on Josh Scott. Josh Scott did the Behringer line, and here's what compares to what. And so anyway, I'm a sucker for cheap pedals. Maybe an episode where we build a pedal board with everything under $50 or $40, or maybe we build a Behringer pedal board. I don't know, but I'm a sucker for delays, and I drug him along this time. But he didn't get any food, any ice cream, didn't get any burgers. We didn't want burgers anyway. That's a whole other rabbit trail we went down last time from the Philly show. Right. So anyway, shoveling snow. We might get a little touch of that tomorrow, maybe, sort of, kind of.
So Dan, New Jersey, says his Keeley compressor is always on. I hear great things about the Keeley compressor.
It's going to make me want to get one. So here, just real quick, here is the bridge pickup on this guitar, which is spanking. Let me trip over stuff. That's Sans compressor, and here's what the compressor. Still got some top end, but it kind of
tunes it down a little bit.
So I thought I'd try it out, and we're playing this guitar, so I'm using it more to tame this beast here. But anyway,
so the beast is a CR
Alsip
Classic OS, so offset. Telly style pickups in it from Seymour Duncan. Nice compensated brass saddles there. I love this paisley kind of pick guard. That's really cool. With the blue, it's a nice looking guitar. And we did that tonight. We just did a little, you should try this episode on that tonight, so we won't talk about it too much, but they were still kind of in town. They went up to New York, he said, stopped at a bunch of different...
They're at Rudy's in New York City, and...
showing off their guitars, and when they came back through, we swapped the PA license plate one for this.
Yeah. And I'm going down to Atlanta in a couple weeks to be back, probably with something else from them.
Brian,
Yes.
ALSIP.
Yep.
It's C.R. Alsip is the name of the company.
And this is the Classic series, so they have 3 levels in their series. Classic, Tejas, and then I'm not sure what the upper one is called. But, so they got another one that's like a Tele style. We had the Strat style one. There's an offset one. And then they start getting into custom stuff. So they're Tejas series because the owner of the company, Jake, loves super strats. So he's got a lot of strat-like, you can get him with a Floyd Rose and all kinds of stuff. So the sort of the Tejas sort of delves into that.
So you can really, I think with that company, really kind of order what you want.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you can...
Right.
I mean, they have their lines, but
it sounds
lines. Like you can really...
Yeah, they have their lines, and they have to build some to show them, right? So I feel like they had about 9 guitars at the show, 10. We carried most of them to the car. We should know how many they had, but...
you carried most of them.
Yeah. You were guarding. You were
watched.
guarding one. Yeah, it was a good job. It was payback, because I come down here and watch you work. You watch me at the Philly Guitar Show carrying guitars around. It was fun. Brian Lander thanks you with the day off. Jay Steen checked in when I turned my head away. So part of this is great, like watching everyone check in with each other, right?
I know, that's cool.
So we talked about this guitar. We both played it. We're different players, as we've talked about before. So it's a great guitar. Nice of them to let us borrow it. Good excuse to try out a compressor because I've just never been able to really get down with compressors, but. Yeah, no, they're great builds, man. And the setup, the action on these guitars. Shane, the other guy who's the new partner in the business, he's been an artist for them for 6 years, and Shane can straight up. I say shred, but he can also chicken pick. He can do it all. So a lot of, and I think Jake, the owner of the company, probably has that kind of background. So you're talking about a 14-inch radius, 9-gauge strings that are set up like amazing.
It's almost too
good. Like I thought I was going to write you a speeding ticket earlier because you were like flying up and down the neck. So yeah,
but like you're I mean it's almost too good.
Yeah,
but I think for this is kind of more of. I feel like they're more metal players. Like they're more right. So they
even
have
the Classic series still have some of the appointments of. But a great Tele setup. These Seymour Duncans sound great.
They do. This pickup sound great. I'd like to.
Yeah, like you said,
put them in my Mexican Tele to tell you.
The build components are great. Like when we ran down the one with the Texas one, there were titanium things on there, and
I wonder which ones they're using.
I don't know because when he sent me the specs, he didn't say which ones. He just said Seymour Duncan. So they've become friendly with Seymour and talked to him personally on the phone. So I'm sure they can get what they want. But yeah, so we'll be talking about the weather tomorrow. That's for sure. Oh, Michigan. Can you slide over to the love pedal?
So, I've seen Layla's Guitar Daddy's name pop up on a comment or two. Are you semi-local to PA? I feel like there was a comment about the Firefly guitars, but then I feel like I saw something that made me think...
Sam Ash. Where's the closest Sam Ash?
Well, I mean, they could have drove. Isn't there one down DC area
or something?
Out.
We don't want to out you in case you're hiding from the government, but you can tell us where you're
maybe weather here's such a good too. Maybe they're a little farther away. I don't know. James Severn said there's no snow in Vegas.
Nice.
Yeah, man, I wouldn't like driving a tractor trailer on snow and ice, man.
Nope.
No.
So on our little expedition, I drug you along to buy some low-end pedals and met a very nice guy and a couple of his grandkids, and we rolled out, came back, and rolled into today. Kind of, at least I think on our live show, we did a better job of saying what we were going to talk about, and partly because we hung out and be like, all right, what are we going to do? So I don't know where you want to go next.
Oh, who's your... See, I'm sorry, man. For some reason, I thought I saw your name on something that was kind of local, though, too, but... No, moderator on the fight. And for everybody in here, You know, so that's kind of like the marriage of two worlds, right? The Firefly, like, I don't know how much some of the guys from the Connects with Guitar and Hacks channels have been watching that, but the Firefly guitars we've done a couple episodes on.
Figure you should put it away, right?
Right. Well, it's
in a gig bag because you ran out of guitar stands down here. Or we just grab it.
But yeah, definitely check out that Firefly fan page, man, and women, if there's any. I think there's. I think we have one female subscriber.
Yeah.
That we know of. So anyway,
Guitar Hack.
Yes, check out the Firefly fan page. There's if you want to learn more about those guitars, there's a lot of cool stuff happening over there.
Hack, your ears must have been burning. We started out the show by talking about you, so thanks for joining in, and thanks for having us last Thursday. That was great.
Yeah,
that was
awesome.
really, really great. How'd your gig go? Good? Any people come up on stage and dance with you?
Knocking your guitars over?
You took the snot green, what is it called, that Gibson? With the classic
Green
like
snot.
yours? Green snot, yeah. Yeah, that was really...
Well, maybe those guitar daddy knows Hack, and I'm just...
Who doesn't know Hack? Right?
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows him, apparently.
You know, the funniest thing, and I just screamed at that mic, the funniest thing was, you know, I mentioned that Hack hung out with us a little bit virtually after it was over, and we started talking, and maybe he said it on the show, I'm not sure. We're talking about our playing, right? And when the camera comes on, you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't play. And he goes, well, why do you think I named my channel Guitar Hack? I wanted to set the standard right away.
That's great.
And he's like, I can play 45 songs at a set and play these solos, and I go to turn a camera on, and I can't play anything. So,
I get it.
It's funny, man.
So, we have...
Yeah, Layla's Guitar Daddy, P&W, right. That's sort of my background,
right.
For sure. Yeah, we love it because I said on Hack's show, we could draw from all our influences even when we're playing in a church environment. Most of our influences, almost all of them at some point.
I've used it as an excuse for years. When they want me to learn a part,
Yeah,
they want to learn to look with the kind of edge style to lay on it. So I'm a blues player.
I'm a blues guy.
Yeah, I can't do that. I think on Hack's episode we showed these. There's a couple new Leslie pedals coming in. This is from Moore. I think we showed that on Hacks. So if you were at Hacks, maybe you're seeing the same thing. But it's the Soul Shiver. Has a chorus vibrato and rotary setting on it. We haven't plugged it in yet to hear it, but that's pretty cool. That they sent that to us. So that's a freebie that they sent out. Tomorrow we have a tracking number. So since we have a tracking number, we can say it now. Nuex sent us, and I think they're the ones that said they were going to put some extra stuff in the box.
Okay.
But they sent us they have a pedal called the Rocktree, which is cool. It's like a more inexpensive rotary pedal, but it has ramp up, ramp down, that stuff. But it also has like an octaver, kind of octave up, octave down built into it, which should be interesting. This came last week. We did a little kind of peek episode on the Leslie series that we're doing. And we put this on because DSL Effects sent us that. And this sounds great.
DLS. I think you keep seeing DSL because
that's who shipped it to me.
DHS, DHL. But it wasn't that like your original like internet service was DSL. I think that's where your mind goes to the dank recesses.
DLS Effects.
Right.
They sent us to this. They sent us this. I cannot speak. And it's cool. It's cool. You got slow speed, fast speed, tweeter intensity. I'm signing off. Bass rotor level, ramp, and then there's a little overdrive thing there too. Another cool find this week. That's
pretty cool.
Hats off to Tech 21 for the coolest pedal box. And then that's the rotor choir. So.
Guitar Hack, I just ordered a PRS from Cosmo. Brian said about the Nux Atlantic, but if you scroll back a little bit, Jay Steen said Wampler Terraform. You're back. You went too far. Sorry. Right there. Wampler Terraform comes out on Friday.
What's that?
Yeah, what is that? And then Guitar Hack. Maybe I need to hear a little bit more about this PRS you just ordered.
Well, the Nux Atlantic reverb delay is very cool too. Kind of reminds you of some of the stuff Strymon does. That that looks cool.
Oh, so a little insider information where a friend from Sweetwater leaked the Wampler. Hey, speaking of a leak, real quick, way off topic. We're at the Philly Guitar Show, and I won't say what booth we were at. And they run in circles with a lot of players, and they kept talking about the Robinson brothers getting back together. And just today, I think the Black Crowes announced that they're coming out, and they had a picture of it, and I sent it to Beard. It was on Howard Stern's Facebook, and I sent it. And he goes, "They don't look real happy about it." I'm like, they're pensive rock stars. What can I say? I think Richie and Chris want to make some money. So
multi-modulation pedal from Wampler. Wampler. Oh my gosh, what is
Wampler? Wampler.
Vintage cherry color for Hack's PRS.
Yeah, but what's
vintage cherry? Is that like that cherry?
I don't know.
Vintage cherry? This is cherry, black cherry. If I remember correctly.
Talking about ice cream?
I would never. No, I would never put fruit in ice cream. Why would you put anything like that in ice cream?
So real quick, back to you were talking about the DLS. Okay, we'll check it out.
What's this?
He said it Facebook and Instagram. So the picture's on there.
For what?
For Hack's guitar that he ordered.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. True story, Brian. The Robinson brothers hate each other, but they're broke. That's what I was saying. They're like, it's so funny to look at him though, because we all age, right? But looking, I think, at Chris Robinson, I'm like, oof, you are not that skinny, 20-something guy anymore. You got some gray in your beard, some wrinkles around your eyes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all right. SE standard. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, that's one you could take to the bar, right?
It's.
Those SEs are getting better and better.
An SE. So we were having this conversation yesterday in the car when we were driving down there. Like the SE stuff is really nice. So at the end of the day, if I cut out and sand a guitar with the CNC machine, and you cut it out with a handsaw and sand it by hand, does your piece of wood sound better than mine? Now I get it, probably on the SEs, the tuners maybe aren't quite as nice. The pickups aren't maybe hand wound. Maybe it's not a rosewood. And I don't know what they're doing. And maybe it's not a rosewood fretboard because a lot of the cheaper guitars have different fretwood. Right, yeah. But at the end of the day, man, I don't know.
Well, and I'm shallow.
Yeah, Shane from In the Blues loves his SE. He liked it better than the American one he tried.
Well, the thing that I like about the SEs now is that they're putting a little carve in the top. I just hated the first versions of the SEs that were just flat because I'm so used to that wonderful carve in a PRS that for me, it was a dead giveaway, which is okay. But I just never liked the way that they look. But now they're putting a little carve in the top, and it's got more of that look that I'm accustomed to that I like about PRSs. And I've played a couple of them. I like them. We've talked about this before. I don't think we would own any of core models. I don't know that we'd run out and buy a core model right now because when we got ours, yours brand new was 1,800 or something, right? For that one, or which one?
Red PRS was
Red PRS McCarty brand new 1,800, right? That same guitar.
You couldn't buy that today for less than
$4,000, right?
$4,000.
So we have those because we got them in the earliest years, more or less. But remember locking tuners too,
I would like the new McCarty that's coming out.
It's back to the old standards.
Right, it's closer to what this was. It's back to, and I would certainly look at them, but
they're starting to put all the appointments on there, right? Binding, and they're talking about locking tuners, and I've only played one S2. Was it that Mira Starla? What did I play at that one store? It was a Mira, I think. Starla. Mira. I think it was a Mira because it was one that because I have Starla pickups in my single cut. Hollow body. But yeah, I mean, I played the S2. I liked it. So anyway, so we were talking about tonight the DLS pedal, but part of what we did was a teaser for the Leslie series that we keep talking about, and we did it in a way. I'm pointing, you probably can't see it. I don't know if you want to hold it up or not, but we started with the MXR micro chorus. In a sense, because it's got one knob and it's a chorus, yeah. So
that's a chorus pedal,
right? So that's a chorus pedal that if you, and it's not just like, oh, you turned up the whole way, because if I turn up the whole way, it doesn't sound good. Chop it up. But if I back it to right there, and if I go further back, it's actually a pretty nice chorus. So maybe there.
So that's the MXR micro chorus.
So I asked him to do that because not everybody, me included, could tell you the difference between a Leslie, a Univibe, a tremolo, a vibrato. So I said, let's start with that, because that's like a fast Leslie, and it sounds great. And then we transitioned to the DLS effects to show what a true Leslie speaker could do, as far as ramp up, ramp down, go fast, go slow, add low end, add high end. So that's kind of, it was like the intro to say, here's the Leslie sound, at least fast, done on something that's not a Leslie pedal, and now here is what it could do. Right. That's what we did tonight. Sort of like a teaser to the Leslie series. Asked by me, who's like, I've heard a million songs, and he created the playlist, and you can look it up. Like, that'd be songs, like, most of you, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but you might not know, like, well, what is the Leslie sound? Well, it's on a million songs you've heard. And so that's what we're going to talk about over the next 100 years, I think. By the time we get through the 20-plus pedals that are heading that way. But anyway.
It's heading that way.
Ooh, yeah, Silver Sky, I see, right.
Who was talking about that? That is...
Yeah.
We've heard rumors of a PRS Silver Sky SE.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing...
I don't remember where I saw it. I don't know if it was on that PRS worldwide forum, the PRS page on Facebook. I don't remember.
Or was it Greg Platzer's?
Maybe, but it appears that PRS is working through all of their core line and doing an SE version of them. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. No. They just have to figure out how to cut the headstock backwards in Indonesia. They want the whole rest of the world to melt down.
Well, see, that's the kind of thing they might do, though, is not turn the headstock around.
That'd be funny, wouldn't it?
They might do a Silver Sky
they might do
SE with a normal headstock.
They'll call it the Sky Silver. Right. By Mayor John. Yeah, right. It does sound like Badge by Cream, and I can't remember all the songs.
That's on the page. Yeah, I think that's on the playlist.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a playlist on our channel that's called That Leslie Sound, I think. It has like 35, 40 tunes that from all different bands.
Yeah, Peter Frampton,
Rolling Stones, Government Mule, The Beatles, and then some bands that maybe I don't listen to a whole lot. U2 might be on there too. Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin. You know, I mean, it's been kind of used everywhere. So, definitely check that out. It's kind of cool. It's like one of those playlists you put on while you're driving.
And try not to get a ticket.
So Jay Steen said, what amps do we use? So down here, we've been using... I'm plugged in to Hack's favorite amp. He's been trying to buy it off me, but I refuse to sell it to him. I'm plugged into a single 12 Fender Hot Rod. And then PJ's plugged into a 112 PV Classic 30. There's another PV Classic 30 head down here. But I mean, those are the two. The Hot Rod and the Classic 30 are what we've been using just because it's... they're pretty easy go-to amps. Like,
yeah, when we're demoing stuff, we need something that is familiar. And I have several Mesa amps, but the one I'm playing at church is a Transatlantic 30, right? And I've got it dialed in, and it sounds great with my PRSs, but sometimes I plug in something else, and it's like, So when we, like tonight, went to play this guitar, new, thought I'd be cute and take this digital delay, the analog delay I've never used before, plug it in over there. I had so many variables going that I had to remove something, and that's already with playing a familiar amp. So we need something that's like a comfortable pair of shoes, and both of us are very familiar with those amps. They're very pedal friendly. We know how to dial up a sound we like, so we have one of the variables fixed in this crazy equation of trying things out. So,
Right.
yeah, Sun 050. I have not. I don't know that I played any of the PRS amps yet. I'm kind of afraid to because I'll.
I've played the 20 watt one. I haven't played the 50. The Super Blues King I played. So Brian, you talked about that when we first started to get to know you. You mentioned that we did that field trip episode to BCR Guitar. They had one there. They were doing their like 20th anniversary sale or something crazy, 25th or 30th, I forget what it was.
It was 25th.
And they had one there, and they had a great price on it, like $470 or something. And I went down and I played it. I sat and I played it. And I was like, this is really good. Maybe I should pull the, trigger on it, whatever. Didn't. Then I thought later I had that Marshall Origin 50. I was like, I got to get rid of this. And I tried to call them up and I tried to trade that amp for it. And I couldn't get anywhere. I couldn't get any traction on it. And in their defense, maybe I think they had a used one in there or they had a new one in there. So in their defense, maybe they didn't need it. But sometimes they get you coming and going, right? Like if you're gonna offer me half what my amp was worth on the street, don't try and sell me the amp in full that you're selling at full price, right? Give me some.
So Jay Steen, my good friend Brody Hutchins has not chimed in tonight, but he's the one that got me onto the classic line of amps, and the classic 20 head. I don't have that yet, but I would like to have one. And I like it because it has an effects loop. It has all the stuff that I would want in an amp in that 20 watt package. So we have the Classic 30 head, Classic 30. The 50s were a bit much for me, because I like. Anyway, so Classic 30 is where I'm comfortable, but the 20 is pretty magical. Brody has one. It's great, and at some point, because I have several in the series.
So if it was going to be me, they have the Delta Blues with the 210s in it.
Tremolo in it too.
Right. Yeah. I would like to, and I see one of those. I see those popping up from time to time. If I was going to do more in the PV, and I gotta admit, I used to hate those amps. They had a PV Classic 30 with a 15-inch. Did they make one like that?
They had an extension cab that had a 15. I don't know if
they have a combo with a. I think they had a combo with a 15. I don't know, but they had a Classic. I think they still have a Classic 30. Or Classic 50. One of the PVs down at the Blues Jam that I used to go to. And if I got stuck on that amp, they had two hot rod backline amps. Mm-hmm. They sold the hot rods and they got Fender Deluxes. Now you think I would be happy that they got like a Fender Deluxe. The thing is, if you plug, and I know Hack was talking about these amps the other night, and he likes his Marshall amp a lot. You plug into a Fender hot rod. I've never plugged in one that I can't get what I want out of it. The clean channel on them is so good. If you crank the clean channel up, put it over the right overdrive pedal, like I can get what I want out of that every single time.
And that's how I feel about a Classic 30 for the most part. I can even use both channels and run my overdriven from that amp. I like it. But we do a lot of pedal work down here. Classic 50 with the 15, yeah. I mean, I went nuts, right? So I had the Classic 30 112 combo. Then I got the Classic Series 410 cabinet. Then I may or may not have stumbled across another Classic Series 410 cabinet. I have the Classic Series 115. I have the Classic 50 or Series 112. I just bought another 112 because they're hard to come by. The irony is, like, at church, he's burning up the tubes in my Classic 30 head. Down here, I'm burning up the tubes in his combo. And we both have both.
Right. Yeah, that's the irony. So really, he could bring his head and cabinet and combo down, and I could take my head and combo to church. Whatever.
I got them burning the way we want them. Yeah, I didn't really get into the Boss, the Katanas yet. I feel like I played one at NAMM, but it's so hard to play in the room like that to get any idea of what anything sounds like.
Here's the Dan, New Jersey has to recap Hot Rod Deluxe. Yeah, see, one of the things that we have to figure out, Dan, for all the Leslie stuff is we're probably going to have to put some of them in the flex loops to make them work well. I'm thinking when we do that, we might bring down the 112 cabinet you just bought and put the head on top of it and run it through the head, because that's the way.
Yeah, I've really always I've never had a problem with the effects loop in my Mesa amps or my PV amps, but like when we plugged a couple of the Leslie pedals into that hot rod, I don't know if it's not buff. I don't know what it is about that, because really it doesn't even say effects. It was like, power in, power out or whatever. And I know it can be used like one,
Right.
but I don't know if it's really set up like one, because we found a couple of those pedals to be a little bit noisy in that if you ran them through the loop. So anyway, yeah, like I said, I found out, I'm an old man. I use the 4 cable method, in and out in a loop, back and forth. So,
It's not hard. You just have to discharge the capacitors or you die. Yeah.
Right.
I'm like DIY just about everything. A tube amp I'm not playing with, man. I don't want anything to do with it.
I have new tubes for my Classic 30 combo.
I'll change the tubes.
Yeah, but I'm not touching it.
I might even help bias it, because I don't know how much biasing. Like I looked up how to do it on the hot rod, and you just touch and you turn. That I don't mind, but I'm not touching anything that's gonna get me the zap of.
Well, I think I watched the Cesar Diaz video, because he was the guitar tech for SRV and others, and he talked about that. He talked about like you take your life in your hands when you do that kind of stuff. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I won't even open a pedal to change the stinking dip switch. I am not touching anything that's going to kill me. Ugh. We got some good amp guys around here, but because they're good, like you can't take anybody anything you need anytime this lifetime.
Right.
So,
but that might be the way to go to bring that cabinet down,
Yeah.
swap it for the combo, because we have less tube battle and stuff too. Yeah, I know, it's in the garage. Just haven't brought it down yet.
I must have to have an insurance rider over here. I just keep bringing more and more stuff over here.
My wife loves it.
She walked down here tonight and she was like, just kind of looked around like, okay.
I think what happened to my basement?
Yeah, she did. She was excited with her purchases, though, from her. She's quite the crafty one, and she loves spoiling the grandkids.
So what are they talking about? Get the formal deluxe kit for it. Is that for what?
I don't know. We got to talking about other stuff.
Is that recapping the...
Probably.
Recapping the amps. Well, Bruce Egnator having an amp building class, that would be the way to go. He would know.
No, the Hot Rod Deluxe.
Mm.
All right, there you go.
So, that hot rod has been... I wouldn't say it's been modded. It's been worked on, though. It's had the... If you have a Hot Rod Deluxe and you're going to have somebody work on it, have them change the inputs jacks to like real hardwired input jacks. Have them rip off the circuit board input jacks and change those, because they break really easy. So and it's like a $3 fix, right? Like if you're in the amp, go ahead and fix those. Put hardwired ones on that. So that was done. It has a different speaker in it. It has I think it's a vintage 30.
It's my favorite.
And then it has JJ tubes in it.
That's one thing I've never modded any of my PV amps, but I do love the Celestion Vintage 30s. I have that in my 212 Mesa cabinet, which is a beast, but just not a modder. Too scared.
Well, it's changing speakers is not that.
I know. But
You're not gonna die from a speaker.
you sure?
Let's turn it up too loud.
Speaking of too loud, I come over here a certain time on Mondays, and I usually announce my arrival, and either by ringing the bell, and Zelda the dog comes and greets me warmly. But today I got out of the car and I'm like, what is that sound? He plugged in one of the Leslie pedals and was, cranking away pretty good, and I heard it from the outdoors and stood outside of this wall with my cell phone. Maybe I'll throw it on Instagram later. I'm like, yep. So I didn't end up knocking because I knew he wouldn't hear me. I just walked down, but yeah. So. There you go.
I'll tell you what, Brian, if I could get somebody to just take the second channel out of the Hot Rod Deluxe, I would be happy. I would just like have the Hot Rod Deluxe clean channel on a 40 watt amp. I'd love to try it with 210s. And I think there is a signature amp, a signature Hot Rod that is kind of like that. I forget. It meets like all my requirements. I think it had like 210s and just a clean channel, but there was like one glaring problem. It might have been master volume or something that made me like go.
That's not the Robert Cray one, is it?
No, I forget whose it was. So, what else? Anything else?
That's what I was trying to think. Did we talk about?
Talked about your Alsip?
Not mine yet.
Talked about the
goodies that arrived this week.
Right.
No, I don't want to put you on the spot. I'm not going to ask you to use names, but we're expecting at least 3 from one person. Right?
Yeah, there's one other. I think when the new X comes, I think that was the last one that they were sending to us. There's one other one that they're sending, and then there's like some sending, like a free and a buying kind of thing going on.
But that will be the last one. Is that true?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
But I haven't heard from him in a while, so I don't know.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
All right. Yeah, around here. Well, the guy around here.
George Benson Hot Rod? I'm trying to remember which one I just saw.
It might be Pete. But I haven't looked at it in ages.
I said Robert Cray. Maybe it was George Benson. I was in Brown's Guitar in Noonan, Georgia, and they're really cool. And it was minty fresh. I think I might even sent you a picture. But it was a Hot Rod Deluxe, and it was a signature series. Maybe it was the George Benson one.
I have 210s up?
I think. I have to go look for my...
Or maybe that was the thing it was missing. Maybe it didn't have 210s. Maybe the one I was thinking that was just... I don't know. I'd have to go look, Pete. I'm not sure I remember.
I have to go through my 3,000 guitar pictures that are on my phone. Okay.
So,
yeah.
Where are we at?
I don't know. We are at...
Are we playing?
10:13 is where we are. We could play a little bit, and if people have other things they want to chime in, we can.
Right, because we've been shooting for like 45 minutes to an hour with these. So if you, are we missing something? I think we hit everything we wanted to hit.
I have to go look at the Instagram post that you put out on Facebook saying what all we were going to cover. Our little excursion to go buy pedals.
That.
I still laugh because, like, I think I'm still being kind. I think had like a Tupperware, like not Tupperware, but like a storage bin, right? And he advertised these 3 pedals. He goes, I got a lot of other pedals in here. He opens it up and he had 2 like multi effects, like Zoom multi effects. When he said that, I'm like, ooh, what you got in there? And he opened it up and I was like, oh, okay, all right. I drug him along like we were the American Pickers and we were going to find something.
That's what it felt like. We were driving out through the
wound up in a wonderful neighborhood, beautiful house, very similar to your hood here, pretty much.
I mean, you know what? The fact that he was so nice.
Oh, he was great.
His granddaughter was such a cutie, and you know, I'll admit I like kids, so it was fun playing with her. For
and
a couple
he got
minutes.
to spend an hour and a half in the car with me.
Right.
2 Sundays in a row. What more could you ask for? That'll be one of the contests we have. Get trapped in a vehicle with me. It'll be a great contest.
If it had been... I went to pick up a pedal one time.
I didn't see the Michael Landau one. Sorry, go ahead.
I went to pick up a pedal one time, and I ended up walking into, like, 1965 incense peppermints. It was like, you know, this, come on in. You know, it was literally like I went to buy the pedal from Cheech and Chong.
Nice.
You know, like, and he was a nice guy, you know, but it, you know, if it had been like something like that, maybe I would have been a little more. Whatever.
Yeah, Michael Landau is a monster player. I don't think the one I saw was that, but yeah, Michael Landau is something else.
So, Brian mentioned that the new Hot Rod 4 has a great gain channel. So, there people are really liking that gain channel on the Hot Rod. On the new Hot Rod. Yeah, but I don't know, Brian. I just like the clean channel.
He likes the pedal platform.
So Mitch Ivanov, who passed away not too long ago, always used to complain about his problem with that amp was the lack of the tube rectifier.
You thought that's where the mojo was?
The mojo's in the tube rectifier. So he had a Fender Blackface Vibrolux that always sounded so great to me when I plugged into it. It was like the best amp ever. Ray Santana has one of those. I went out and bought a reissue Vibrolux and hated it. Hated it. And I think it's because it's missing that tube rectifier. And I think most of the amps that we're talking about, the PVs and the Marshall that Hack just got, I think most of these, the hot rods, are all missing tube rectifiers. They don't do that very much anymore.
No, the classic series has EL84s. I like the tubes, but yeah. But
Supro does the tube rectifier. But most people are using a solid state rectifier with power tubes and preamp tubes. I'm going to have to go look that Microland model up again.
Layla's Guitar Daddy, we missed the one of the Michael Kelly guitars. I feel like I played one a long time ago, but I haven't had much experience.
There was a guy in Hummelstown that was selling those. Tony was really into those. They're nice. The ones I played were nice. I mean, I don't have tons of experience, but I've been handed a couple that my friend was getting, and they felt like they were pretty nice. I think.
Yeah.
They look like they're doing some nice stuff. Mm-hmm. Are we still stuck on that same...
Sure, why not? It's new to them. It's like we're on tour and play the same show every night. It's old to us, but new to everybody else.
Let me give a little bit of... right, Brian. Hey, thanks for everybody for joining us. If you haven't subscribed yet,
Yeah.
please do that. Check us out, Facebook, Instagram. Thanks for hanging out tonight.
Yeah, man. Yeah, men's, and maybe lady. So, as usual, reminding you, no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.